Welcome back, everyone, to round 2 of RMFantasySXperts headed into St. Louis. I am Chase.
I'm Christian.
We are the RMFantasySXperts. Now remember, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That way you always stay up to date on the episodes. They drop every Friday. We're here to give you the stats, the info you need to make your picks for fantasy. Now, to get started, Anaheim won. It's in the books. Got a lot to talk about.
Yep, that's right.
So let's get right into it. Here it is with our race recap.
All right, so everyone started off. We saw Barcia Law firsthand, him and AC battling up front, way up front.
Yep.
Our question we're going to get into is he a safe top 5 pick from now on?
I don't know. I mean, he won A1 last year. He just repeated. But last year, it's kind of interesting because after the races, I'm sure a lot of people saw this, he did an interview and he said, yeah, last year I won A1. It was a mud race, but I knew the bike wasn't good. It wasn't going to be a good year. So it was a weird interview.
He said a lot of weird things.
The real question is, I'm kind of curious what people think is Barcia for real? Or, you know, you have to look at A1 and say, okay, how much can you take away from this race?
Yeah.
Because we see it every year. Things happen that you're not expecting, but we'll get into that. But if we talk about results, Justin Barcia, hey, congrats. Blue Crew doing it.
Barcia
Second year in a row. Adam Cianciarulo. Cannot say enough good things about this guy right now.
Everyone knew. They told us, put him in your top 5, and luckily we listened last minute.
He might take the place as my green machine, the train that I'm on.
Yeah, I mean,
he might replace Eli for me.
Easily could have won. He had 1 bobble. So.
Yep. And then we got Cooper Webb. Even when the man is sick.
Nobody's talking about him, but he's the scariest one up here, I think.
He is. Okay, we'll talk about him. Yeah. But you got Blake Bagg at 4th place. Congrats to Blake.
Dude, killed it.
Best finish by far at Anaheim 1. What was his best before? 12th?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he crushed it, did really good. He was one of the few riders actually charging through, moving up. Jason Anderson, a quiet but very good fit. He qualified well.
Yeah.
And then
some passes.
One of our riders we had last week for the wild card watch, Vince Freeze.
Somebody got him right. That was a way to start the year off.
I had Davalos in there, but that was a heart pick. I decided to go with the stats. I picked Freeze, and it paid off.
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it.
But anyway, so any highlights of the race that you want to talk about you think are worth mentioning?
I mean, you just got to start with Barcia after he goes off the track, and then just comes in, looks to be a T-boning AC.
Yeah.
And then kind of pulls off.
Gray area, because let's say Barcia does pull on and T-bones Adam. Does he get penalized? Is what he did even legal? I don't know. It's kind of weird. To me, it just kind of seems shady. It's like, dude, you blew off the track. You can't just immediately gun it back on and then take the dude out.
All I'm going to say is I would be more surprised if he didn't do that. I was expecting him to do something like that, and I like it. He took it to the max without really,
So that happened. I mean, those guys are battling. Justin Hill, he looked really good. He had a little altercation with AC, although I think AC cut down in that berm pretty hard. I don't think Hill was actually trying to go after him, to say. But Zach Osborne had a really bad get-off. That was kind of gnarly to see.
Yeah.
But, it was good racing, though. It was good racing all night long. As far as points go, I got 41. You got 25. What about user stats?
User stats. A lot of people are kind of bummed. They only got like 1 pick right or something, but the average was only 28 points. So
yeah, there's no perfect scores, but that's expected at A1.
Yep. So if you got 1 pick right, you're doing better than the rest of everyone else. So hang in there. 5.4% got the wild card correct. Tomac was in 96% of the top 5 picks, which he should be.
Well, he should.
But that really hurt everyone's picks.
Here's the big one.
Yeah, Barcia. I mean, everyone's wondering why anyone would have picked him, and 462 people, so 0.66%, chose him to win. The crazy thing is over 8,100 actually had him in 5th. Wow. I had him in the wild card, so he shocked a lot of people, no doubt.
He did. Well, that's what you expect out of A1.
Yeah.
Riders mixing up that you wouldn't expect. AC was kind of a question mark. I ended up putting him in my top 5. I was 1 spot away, so... But anyway, the good thing in this, as far as injuries go, we saw Osborne and Plessinger both get banged up, but they should be at St. Louis.
And the 7-deuce hurt his wrist in practice. He's going to miss round 2. That sucks.
But aside from that, everyone, for the most part, escaped healthy. We're going to see him at St. Louis, which we got to talk about because we didn't have St. Louis on the schedule last year. It's back this year. What's interesting is that it's always been an East Coast round. It's now a West Coast round this year.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
So let's get into it. Here it is, track trends. So going into St. Louis, I'm excited because the start straight at A1 just, I don't know how you feel, it wasn't my favorite. It was really short, and honestly, it just really favored guys that, got a really good gate pick. Yeah. And so, but it's frustrating though. You get Eli Tomac, who qualifies second, has one of the best gate picks in his heat race, and the dude just qualifies, fourth?
Yeah.
And then it was kind of interesting, too, because he chose a gate on the outside of the doghouse when other riders that had a worse gate pick than him went way inside.
Yeah, I don't think it
and
worked
they got
out.
a better start. And I'm just like, what are you doing?
He didn't get a good start, so maybe that's why. I don't know.
Anyway, this week, though, if you look at the start straight on the track map, it is long. It's like the
straight.
whole football field. And that's what I love about football fields. You get longer start straight. So it just kind of allows the riders to separate a little bit more. They don't get too clustered up. So maybe for a guy like Eli, it gives him more of an advantage, I would say, or just better off because he has more time to separate himself.
The long starts seem to favor Baggett, is all I'm going to say.
Baggett has, in the past been good at those long start straights.
It looks like this whole track just kind of
been good
screams
too at
Baggett to me. I don't know.
Think so? Well, like I said, it's an East Coast round, so you actually need to go off of stats of East Coast last year versus West Coast, just because the dirt's a little bit different. It's going to be, it's a tackier dirt. It ruts up, which A1 actually got a lot ruttier than people are expecting.
Yeah, St. Louis is usually back on the schedule, too.
Yeah.
So this is early, more deep into winter. I don't know.
But as far as the track layout goes, you got another big whoop section. I'd plan on those really breaking down.
Yep.
Other than that, though, nothing to me that really stands out. Kind of a cool double section. But
a couple back-to-back 180s.
Yeah. So I think it'll be good racing, though. The start's what I'm excited about. But let's talk about it because, like I said, last year, St. Louis was not on the schedule. We're going back. So let's jump back to 2018 to give you some stats on riders to help you out with your top contenders. So when it comes to your top contenders, and we want to hear your feedback out there, what do you guys think? We have 6 riders right now on the table. You got Justin Barcia, Jason Anderson, Cianciarulo, Tomac, Baggett, Ken Roczen.
The most picked favorite riders right now.
Yep. Yeah. But there's 6 up here, which means one of these guys isn't going to be, like, mathematically you cannot have all 5 in there. Yeah. So who would you take out? And we're going to talk about that.
Yep.
But first, let's give some stats, because like I said, you got to go back a couple years to get to some St. Louis stuff. So with Justin Barcia. So he won A1. He's done it impressively. Now, if you look at, started last season with 167 in standard rounds.
Not that bad.
It's not that bad, but it's not that good.
I mean, we forget that because he finished so bad.
But the real question is, though, is he for real this year? Do you leave this man in your top 5, yes or no?
As of right now, I don't think I'm going to put him in my top 5. I don't know why. There's so many good riders, you got to take somebody out. I don't know. He just seems like a more risky pick to me.
All right, I disagree. I think Barcia is, if the bike's good like he's saying it is, Barcia's one of those riders where when that guy just gets confidence and feels good about it, the dude can go on a run. Yeah. And so I'm putting Barcia back in my top 5 this week.
The thing I like about him is he's impossible to pass. He does not let anyone pass him ever, and he's not afraid to battle to pass anyone. So I could see it, but he's just been risky. I don't know. We'll see how he looks.
Now, going to our next rider, Jason Anderson. Like I said, quiet 5th place at Anaheim 1.
Good for him, though. I mean, he's got to be happy for that.
He didn't race all last year, basically. He missed most of the rounds. Yeah. So for him to come back and get his top 5, his first round back, I think he is happy with that.
Yep.
I think he'll take it. He'll move on. But what do we have here? So going back, he looked good, but he qualified 5th, started 2nd, finished 2nd in St. Louis in 2018.
Yeah, he actually has good St. Louis stats.
Yeah. And the year before that, in 2017, he qualified 3rd and finished 4th. So he's got a good record at St. Louis.
He's got 2 back-to-back top 5s in St. Louis. On average through his 450 career, though, he stayed within a few spots of where he qualifies. He's one you can really, gauge where he's going to be by that.
Anderson, for me, no question. He's a top 5 guy this week.
Yeah, I have to keep him in there.
Is Adam Cianciarulo the real deal?
AC, we was kind of skeptical about him. We were scared to put him in. But
according not to players, because what percentage had him in their top 5?
I mean, 83% had him in their top 5. He was only picked less than Tomac and Roczen. That's it.
Serious.
So he was above the other dudes. 21% had him chosen in 1st, and 21% had him in 2nd. So almost half of his picks were in 1st or 2nd.
Look, all I'm seeing from this guy is a continuation of Monster Cup. Qualifying good start, running up front.
Yeah. I mean,
this man,
impressive.
Right now, dude, I'll just say, I'm on the Adam train. And I hope he keeps it on. If this man can keep it on 2 wheels, I see him in championship contention at the end of the year.
I don't see any reason why you'd say he wouldn't be after that.
Now, the hardest pick for me this week is this man right here, Eli Tomac.
I mean, he didn't look that great at A1. He claimed he had arm pump.
Yeah, he said something about arm pump. But
we've been down this road with him before.
Yeah, and we knew he's never won an A1. But here's what you got to look at. If you go back a few years, And this is what's going to help me and I think a lot of people out there. 2018,
Dominated.
Whole shots, leads every lap.
Qualified first.
Qualified first. 2017, what does he do?
Qualified first.
Qualified first, and then he wins the race.
Led 25 laps.
If Tomac qualifies first, I will put him to win. If he does not qualify first, he'll be in my top 5, but probably more towards like the 4th or 5th range, but not at the top of the box. What do you think?
The arm pump issue does kind of scare me, but he has technically owned St. Louis.
Yeah.
So he's going to be up there towards the top.
Just means he likes the dirt. He's comfortable there, so
yeah. It's just up to his starts, really. The last 3 starts he's had in in 2019 was 10-7-10.
He's never been a good starter.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not looking good.
That's
so
the only reason,
I don't know how he's going to charge, so.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I don't know. He said he had an arm pump a couple of years ago at A1, and then I guess figured it out. Blake Baggett. Cooper Webb.
Cooper Webb.
You can't count this man out.
Nobody's really talking about him. He's the scariest dude up here.
He's my pick to win. We don't have stats on him because from 2018 he didn't race there.
Yeah.
And but the guy is sick with the flu.
He did not sound good, didn't look good.
Qualified 15th.
Yeah.
And what does he do? He does what a champion does.
Yep.
On his bad nights, he gets a freaking third place.
He's trying to prove everyone wrong that says you can't win the championship at A1. Because he had every reason to be like 7th, 10th, whatever.
No, him and Tomac should have flip-flopped.
Yeah,
if you look
he's
at it on
pushing
paper.
up there. He's doing good. Last year in the mud, this year sick.
If I'm Tomac right now, I'm thinking, I said I have arm pump, but Webb is clearly, you visibly can see he's sick. He qualified 14 or 13 spots farther back than me, and he still beat me in the heats and in the main event.
And it was a quiet round for him. I mean, he's in 3rd place. He's got to be scary to everyone right now.
And you look at Webb's average start last year, it was unreal.
I know
it was
St.
less
Louis
than
is
3.
Technically a West Coast, but it's really an East Coast round, and he owns the East.
Yeah, he had an average start of less than 2 on the East Coast rounds last year, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
Just dominated. Ken Roxon. You said Barsha wasn't going to be in your top 5. Ken Roxon, to me, is the guy that I'm not putting in my top 5.
It really comes down to Barsha and Roxon. I don't know. There's not enough spots to pick them both, I think.
Well, Roxon, obviously, in 2017, that's when he had his bad arm injury, so he didn't race there. He wasn't there last year or 2 years ago. And the time before that, he was on RCH Suzuki. But he did not look good at A1. He started up front. The man went backwards. He got passed by Anderson, Webb, and Baggett later in the race.
Yeah.
So he said he has stiff suspension settings, so maybe that was a big factor, but I'm just still not convinced. And I was high on Roxon. I had him to win. But after seeing what happened at A1,
when people are catching him and passing him,
after seeing his performance, I'm not convinced that he is where he needs to be physically or mentally, I don't know, to contend for wins. What do you think?
There was a lot of hype about him, but we started looking up the stats, and it's not good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only finished in the top 5 overall in 1 out of the last 6 main events going back to last year. Hasn't led any laps in the standard round since round 7 last year.
Yep.
And he's only started in the top 5 1 time in the last 9 standard rounds.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We love the guy. It's not a knock on him, but something's going. I don't know.
Until he proves it that he's a man to contend, I'm going to leave him out this weekend. I'll take that risk. That's fine.
You're basically banking on a good start and him holding on to it at this point.
Yep, exactly. Well, there you are. Those are the top contenders. What do you guys think? Argue with us. Who's right? Is Barsha a contender? Should Roxon be in or out of your top 5? Where do you put Webb?
Yeah.
Tomac? Take it or leave it. I don't know. But let's get right into what we got to talk about because we saw it again. The spoilers.
Yep.
Blake Baggett was one. Adam Cianciarulo, you could try and call him a spoiler, but I think people expected that. But let's get into it. Let's get our weekly spoilers out. So with the weekly spoilers, now before we get there, coming up very shortly, we have a cool guest caller this week, Mr. Jeff Walker.
He's got the biggest group in fantasy right now.
He absolutely does. So he's going to be calling in the show. If you're not familiar with Jeff Walker, you will be. The guy started out doing vlogs, got super popular. He has awesome videos on YouTube. Check those out if you haven't yet. He's also going to be racing the Outdoor Series this year. So, and he's raced Supercross in the past. So he's going to be calling in.
Fantasy right now.
Yeah, he is very pumped.
He's pumped on it.
Weekly spoilers, though. We saw it again. We saw riders who weren't on people's radar, who some did crack the top 5 and some just about did it. So let's talk about it. First of all, Blake Baggett.
I mean, Blake Baggett almost podiumed.
Almost podium. Got 4th place as his best Anaheim 1. Here's what's crazy. Between the heat race and the main event, he swapped out forks and shock.
which we didn't know about.
We didn't know
until
about.
The end.
So that was a gamble that obviously paid off for him.
That was crazy.
But again, Blake kind of, last year we saw it. He had a terrible A1, now I was going to mutter, comes back and wins round 2.
Long start.
Long start. But after that, though, it was, you never knew what to do with Blake.
It was mid-pack till it went east, where he kind of got a lot better.
But if you were to put him back in your top 5, it wouldn't surprise me one bit.
No, I mean, he's qualified 16th, still finished 4th. So qualifying, you can't really be too scared off with him.
Honestly, I'll take Baggett over Roxon right now.
Yeah, I probably would
think
too.
Baggett's a better starter.
Yeah.
And so.
And he's healthy.
Yep.
More people actually picked Stewart, Barsha, and Osborne in their top 5s than Baggett, so it's kind of surprising.
Yeesh.
But he took 6th in St. Louis in 2018, 7th there in 2017, so not bad.
No, not at all.
And he has an average start of 6th over the last 3 standard rounds, so he's getting good starts.
Yeah, he's not
I
too
like
bad.
Baggett. What about Osborne?
Rough night for Osborne. He is banged up, but he's going to be there. He was sick, and then if you watch the heat race, man, did he have a bad crash.
He was up there, too, when he crashed.
Yeah, he was set to, I don't remember what place he was in, but he was going to have a good result. And
he was up far enough that I was like, dang, I should have put him in my picks.
He just jumped, he just jumped too far off and crashed. But Osborne, a healthy Osborne, look at him in qualifying.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's up there in qualifying, I think he'd probably be a good pick for around a 5th place position.
Check his condition, how he's feeling.
Yeah, Justin Brayton, though.
He had a good night. He qualified 8th, won his heat
race.
Up there.
And again, Ken Roxon could not catch or pass Justin Brayton in the heat race.
He looked good. He says he's still getting better.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
But
maybe he is.
He ran up front for most of the race. So he qualified 8th. He won his heat. He started 3rd and then finished 8th. And real quick, I just got to give a shout out to the whole Bullfrog Spas Motor Concepts team.
Right now, yeah.
Those guys were nailing starts. Even Justin Hill was getting good starts.
Yep.
When was the last time we saw that happen? When he was on JGR a couple years ago,
Tampa
or whatever it was.
Whatever it was. Daytona.
But they've got those bikes figured out.
Yeah,
so he ran up front. He did go down and then kind of faded back, but you know what? If JB Tang gets another good start, I could see him running the top 5.
The man came out and won Daytona, so he's capable of winning any round at this point.
But what you got to know with him, though, is he rarely finishes more than 4 spots away from where he qualifies.
Yeah, watch his qualifying. If it's, 12th, 11th, somewhere back there, maybe stay away. But
Malcolm Stewart did not have the night that I was expecting. I'm sure that was the same for a lot of people because, like you said, more people had him to be in the top 5 than Barsha or Baggett.
He was picked more than Barsha in the top 5. So.
But I know Malcolm is top 5 material. Yeah. I see him having a bounce back weekend. He qualified well. He was up on the top of the board during qualifying.
Yep.
He was having a good heat race. Tomac, I'm not going to say took him out, but took him high and Malcolm went down.
Pressured him.
That gave him a really bad gate pick for the main event. And he charged forward. If you look at Malcolm's result, it doesn't reflect how he rode.
No.
He really did charge forward. So Malcolm, I think, would be a safe bet. And him or Baggett, honestly, at this point right now, are probably my 2 biggest spoilers that I'm going to look at as far as who I want to put in my top 5.
I have to agree with that. I mean, only 40 less people picked him to win than Barsha.
Yeah.
So people are high up on him right now. Just had a bad start, like you said. He did take 10th in St. Louis in 2018 and had his best finish of the season was in St. Louis in 2017 where he got 9th. So.
Yeah, but I'm going to kind of write off those 2 years. He wasn't in shape, definitely wasn't on the program he is now.
That's what I'm saying. He could do a lot better now.
Absolutely. So there it is. Those are the weekly spoilers. Did we leave anybody out? An Aaron Plessinger, a Justin Hill,
a Vince Freeze.
Vince Freeze, I think he finished right where he belongs, 10th to 12th-ish. But what do you do? But let's get into it now because we got the wild card this week, which is 14th place. So we're going to have some good picks and some stats to back those up.
All right, getting into the wild card is a tough spot this week, 14th place. We have the riders that we think you need to be watching out on qualifying, considering for your picks. Starting with Tyler Bowers. Barely made it in the main last year. It was a sketchy one.
What a gnarly main last week. Or
LCQ. Yeah,
Plessinger barely made it in.
I mean, there's a lot of names.
I was watching that thinking, Plessinger might not make the main event in Anaheim.
It wasn't your standard LCQ lineup.
Goodness, him and Bowers just battling it out. But Bowers, he qualified 18th, took 17th last round. But if you look at his results, going back to what we talked about last week, he's usually more of like around a 12th place guy.
Yeah.
But 14th, it's only 2 spots away.
I mean, a 14th in round 2 is a lot different than a 14th in the last round. I mean, the class is stacked right now. It's full. There's a reason that LCQ was so stacked.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And then we get to Justin Bogle. Now, Justin, for me, yeah, if you look at his average his finish from last week and you look at some stuff going back to last year, you might think he's a good contender for that wild card spot, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he's better than that.
He qualified 13th, finished 16th last round. On average, stays around 2 to 3 spots from where he qualifies is all I can tell you with Bogle.
Well, all I can say is, Justin, you got this.
I will be pulling for him, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Chad Reed, the wild card, the people's champ.
We don't even need a reason for him. It's just everyone picks him for the wild card.
Look,
I don't know why.
Everyone loves Chad for the wild card, no matter what position it is. But we witnessed it, folks. We talked about it. He's not in shape. This man cannot do a 20-minute main event.
He was cruising in the main. I mean, and who can blame him?
He
can do whatever he wants. That's fine.
But last week he qualified 22nd. He went to the LCQ, got second there.
He only went to one LCQ all year last year.
Yeah,
so
but he finished 18th.
Yeah.
So
and it was a cruising around. 18th.
He was not. And
that's fine. He can
14th
do it.
for Reed would be a good result.
Yeah.
That could happen.
I wouldn't be shocked.
But anything above 14th, no. Like the man, there's too many other guys that are there that are in shape.
It's not even worth it for him to be pushing and risking injury at this point. Yeah. So.
Your boy, Martin. Martin, look, last week he qualified 10th. I was watching qualifying the race day live. I was like, there we go.
I just kept hearing all day about Martin.
Martin. No, I think Martin, honestly, what did he get this last weekend? Let's see here. Qualified 12th and took 15th.
There you go.
There you go.
Yep,
what else do you need? He's one spot away. So, Martin, this week I might stick to it because I had him in the wild card. I swapped him out for Freeze.
Oh, dude, if he hits it, you're going to lose your mind.
I am, dude. He'll help me out. Martin.
Oh, gosh.
And then what do you have for – is Aaron Plessinger really –
It doesn't really sound right. I mean, he was back there last round, but he's banged up. I heard he's limping around. I mean –
Well, look, he got beat by Dean Wilson, who's not in shape.
Yeah.
He got beat by Martin Davalos. Like, he just did not look good.
He's the type, though, that kind of like Justin Hill can pull a start at any given time and maybe get in there. I don't know. But you don't want to worry about his qualifying. If you're a Plessinger fan and you want him there,
he's
top
never
5,
been a
wherever,
really good qualifier.
The qualifying's not going to tell you anything about him. So
that's true.
We're just putting him there purely that he's banged up.
Okay. Well, there you have it. But as far as you, who are you leaning towards right now for your wild card this weekend?
I'm honestly, I hate to say it, but I'm kind of liking Bogle.
Really?
Let's see what he does. Maybe even your boy Martin. I don't know.
I'm a Bowers or a Martin Davalos guy right now. Yeah. Those are my two options. We'll see how they do.
Bowers scared me. Thought he wasn't going to make the main last week.
Well, there you have it. Those are our wild card watch. But now, like I said earlier, let's get this man on the phone. He is a YouTube sensation, has a great following, great guy. Here he is Between Two Berms with Jeff Walker. All right, so here we go. We got him on the phone. You've seen him on YouTube. If you haven't, you got to watch his YouTube videos. It's Between Two Berms with Jeff Walker. What's going on, Jeff?
Hey, what's up, guys? Currently just going through the Supercross archives trying to get my picks for St. Louis. They're not making it easy on me.
So you're a stats guy. I like that.
Well, dude, after my performance at Anaheim 1, I had to step my game up. Didn't go so well.
Oh, man. It didn't go so well for a lot of people. But, Jeff, you got really popular on YouTube. You started doing moto vlogs, and I think you had some really cool...
Pioneered the mount, the camera mount.
You made your own mount for your chin bar, which gave a cool POV that I think set you apart. And if you guys haven't watched yet, Jeff Walker, go to his YouTube channel. He rides in Florida a ton on the sand tracks. He did some 450 shootouts. He's done some outdoor nationals. Mm-hmm. So check out that channel. But you are going to be racing outdoors this year, right?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you guys. I appreciate the shout out. But yeah, I'll be doing the full outdoor series on a Honda 450, doing that FXR Honda team that Michael Lindsay's putting together. So really grateful for that opportunity. Finally graduated college this fall, so I'll finally have the spring to just devote to motocross training. So before I would get done with the spring semester, like early May, have basically 2 weeks to train for Hangtown and then just kind of grind out the season. So really excited to have couple of months here where I can actually train really hard, see what we can do this season. Excited
awesome.
About it.
Right on. Congrats, man. So Anaheim 1 didn't go as planned, but we're going into St. Louis. And you said you're looking at the archives here. Well, first of all, let's go back to A1. Was there anything about that race that for you just stood out that you weren't expecting that happened? Or what are your thoughts on the race overall?
Yeah, well, I wasn't expecting the entire race to happen like it did, so definitely a lot of surprises there. I mean, yeah. I guess I don't know, dude. I think I came into it way too logically, thinking about like A1 would be just like any other race, which was stupid. I should have known Anaheim 1 would be crazy, just like it always is.
Yeah.
And I should have known that Tomac would not deliver, just like he always does at Anaheim 1. So, yeah, I had Tomac winning, Roxon up there. That obviously did not go as planned. But, yeah, a couple things that really stood out to me. Obviously, Cincerello, like holding it together for the whole main. I think everyone knew he would be super fast, put in a good qualifying time, maybe get a heat win, but you didn't see those like little mistakes at AC, that's characteristic of him. And I think that is dangerous for everyone else because the dude's got the speed and the talent, and obviously the program with Monster County and everything. He's got the training down. Yep. And now it kind of seems like he's got those mistakes minimized, so that's going to be definitely dangerous for everyone else.
Yeah, I think his maturity level, when he made that mistake and got passed by Barsha, I think he showed a lot of maturity by not pushing too hard to win. Instead, he just kind of, you could tell, he was like, you know what? Second place is what I got tonight. I'll take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a smart dude.
Yeah, I think, for one, just mentally he's matured a lot, but I think the 450 is also forcing him to mature because I think, if he was on a 250, maybe he said he got a little bit of like arm pump or a high heart rate after that mistake that he made. I think on a 250 he still would have pushed his brains out and tried to get that W, but I think the 450 probably was like, all right, dude, if you get whiskey on a 450, I don't even know if those nets are saving you. You're going into the stands.
Yeah, he didn't have, he wasn't trying to scrub, as Chris Kiefer would say, every anthill on the track. So he just looked more calm and collected. So overall, it's good, though.
He looked good, and he looks happy doing it, too, man. Every interview you have, it just seems like, he's been a likable dude the whole time, but it seems like with every interview, I find myself liking him more and more. That being said, though, he definitely seemed pretty upset to get second place. So I think that's pretty dangerous, too, because I was kind of expecting him to be stoked on getting second, but he was like, yeah, it's okay, but, should have won. So I think that's pretty sweet.
If you're leading,
for everyone else.
If you're leading that race and you realize that you would have been the first ever rookie to win it, you probably feel like you let one go, but he can't be disappointed. Did you have Barsha in your top 5?
Yeah, actually, no, I didn't have Barsha in my top 5, I don't think.
All right, then it's 2 years in a row.
That was a shocker. I probably should have, given that he won it last year. But then, dude, that's what I'm saying. These guys are making it tough on me. I'm going back through the archives from the first 4 rounds last year. It was Barsha, Baggett, and then Cooper won the first 3 rounds. And then those dudes, Cooper obviously went on to win the championship, but no one expected those dudes to be winning. And then they come out and kill it. So
Tomac didn't win until round 5.
Threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to St. Louis. So give it to us. What do you got right now? What's your hunch? What do you have right now? This might change, but who's your picks for St. Louis?
All right, well, I already said I like AC. I have him in first place. I think, like I said, he was pretty upset that he got second. Now he knows he's got the speed and he's got that fitness to make it through the whole main. So I've got AC going 1. I got Cooper Webb in second. I was super impressed with Webb's ride in the main. Like I said, I should have known based on last year that qualifying time does not mean anything for Cooper Webb.
Yep.
And just the fact that he has that mental strength to come back from qualifying 15th and then, getting up to 4th place or whatever he was at Anaheim 1 is crazy. Plus he's healthy this week.
3rd place. He got a podium.
Yeah, that's scary.
I
Crazy.
think he's going to be – he was 3rd. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's 3rd.
So, got him in second.
Okay.
Anderson, dude, he was the other standout ride that I had saw at Anaheim 1, which I think a lot of people didn't talk about because he ended up getting 5th, which didn't seem very impressive. But, dude, he started way back in the pack. He was one of the only dudes who was actually passing people.
And to be honest, Roxon was holding up Baggett, which was holding up Anderson. You kind of saw that. So him and Baggett, to me, looked like the riders charging the most the whole night.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Anderson was he started pretty far back there, got around Roxon, got around some fast dudes, and then right at the end, he was right on Baggett. I was actually screaming, come on, get around him, because I think I had him in 4th. So
Gotcha.
I was definitely keeping an eye on Anderson, and I'm stoked on him. And like I said with AC, dude, he just seems happy. He's in a good place, I think. Every interview and every Instagram post or whatever, he's just smiling, talking about how it's the most fun he's ever had on a dirt bike. So I like Anderson for 3rd. Not giving up on Tomac just yet. Got him in 4th. The St. Louis typically breaks down pretty good, and I think last time they were in St. Louis, Tomac won it. So
he's
got
dominated.
4th, and then Barsha 5th.
Yep. All right, Barsha 5th,
Barsha back in there.
Do you think Barsha's the real deal? Do you take what he said seriously about how last year the bike just wasn't good, and he knew the season was going to be bad even before he went racing? and this year's a new Barsha? Or do you think we might see the same pattern where he comes out swinging, has a couple good rounds, and then just kind of disappears? What do you think?
To be completely honest, man, I've never bought that the Yamaha was not a good bike. Every time I've ridden a Yamaha 450 over the past couple of years, it's been one of my favorite bikes that I've ever ridden. I actually ranked it first in my Michael Lindsay's 2020 shootout this year. Seems like all the shootouts always put it in first place. I love that bike. I think it was more of just the riders not being completely prepared. I think this year Barsha is definitely way more prepared than he has been in the past.
Yeah.
And I just don't know what to think about it yet, because based off of last year, came out swinging a day one and won it, and then you didn't really hear from him throughout the rest of the season. So I think he is the real deal as long as he keeps getting hole shots. But I don't know. I have him in my top 5 just as a safe pick. Okay. But I don't know. He could be first, could be 10th. I'm not really sure what to think about Barsha right now.
Last question, Jeff. If Eli Tomac or Ken Roczen do not win the title this year, do they ever win one?
Man, it's really hard to say, because last year I think I would have said yeah, just based on the field and everything. But now with Adam Cincerello stepping up like a rookie in the 450 class and doing as well as he is, I can only see, the rest of the 250 riders coming up and kind of delivering. It's been a while since we had a 250 rider come up and just dominate.
Well, next year,
I'm not saying Cincerello's dominating, but if that's what we're in for, then it's going to be super tough for Tomac and Roczen to get it done. But dude, all you have to do is look at Tomac's past results, and you can see that he's capable of it.
Yeah.
He's the top pick rider to win every week.
It's only getting harder. That's all I'm saying.
Well, thanks for calling in and talking to us. Everybody needs to go join your group, the biggest group ever in RM Fantasy SX.
Ever.
Jaywalks 2020 Fantasy SX, over 1,300 people.
The
That's
man
crazy.
is doing something right.
Yeah, he's feeling the love for sure.
The support's crazy. I appreciate everyone hopping in. It's been fun. They've kicked my butt. I think I'm sitting in like 800th place right now. So yeah, if you guys want to come beat me at something at Supercross, this is your chance.
It's round one. It's round one. We got a lot to go. Your 2 lowest scores are dropped. Do not hit the panic button like Eli Tomac.
The message board looks pretty lit in there as well. So get in there.
Well, Jeff, again, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it. Again, you guys, watch his videos. Jeff Walker on YouTube. Join his group. Those are his picks. What do you guys think? Jeff, good luck this weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it a lot.
All right, we'll see
you guys in the group.
All right,
see ya.
bye.
I like it, dude.
I like that
He's
guy.
getting like a nice range of guests calling in. He's a cool dude. So.
Well, there you have it. Those are his picks, but now you know what time it is, though.
It's time to lock him in.
Let's do it. All right, let's lock him in. This is a tough week for me. I'm struggling. You just watch me. I put my picks up here, and I probably question every single pick that I put on the freaking table. So, but here's what I have right now.
All right.
Cooper Webb, you cannot count this man out. He won the most races last year, and if you can get 3rd place when you qualify 15th and you're sick with the flu, you are good for a win. Yeah. Cooper Webb, I'm finally putting my cards on this man right here. Last year, I was just refused to do it. I don't know why. I'm doing it this week.
Joining the Coop Troop.
Coop Troop, 1st place. Yeah. Jason Anderson, 2nd place. Eli Tomac, I don't see him whole shot. Oh, dude, who knows? But I've got him for 3rd. It's do or die for Tomac. He has got to get onto the podium.
Yeah, he's got to do
something.
He has to. You don't want to let him get out too far ahead
so
again.
Ditch the arm pump. I have Blake Baggett for 4th. And then Justin Barsha, I don't see him repeating as a winner, but I still see him being in the top 5.
You're squeaking him in.
I left AC out, and it makes me feel terrible inside. Might change. I'll look at qualifying. It is so hard right now. And then for my wild card, I'm going to go back to Martin Davalos.
Dude, I like it.
I think he's a 14th place guy. What do you got?
Okay. Well, I'm thinking Tomac is do or die at this point. I mean, he doesn't want Webb running away with it.
You're going to put Tomac in 1st place.
He's owned St. Louis.
Dude, he didn't win till round 5 last year.
But he's owned St. Louis, and if he doesn't do it now, I mean, what is he going to do? So he's got to do something. I put Webb 2nd
that
just
because.
That
seems like you're picking with your heart, bro.
We'll see.
Your stats don't lie.
We'll see.
Okay.
If he's qualifying 1st too, that he's definitely not coming out.
Okay.
So Webb
I
for
did
2nd.
say I would put him in 1st if he qualified 1st, didn't I?
I mean, he does good in that track. We all know.
He just can't get a freaking start. Okay. Webb 2nd.
Is just, he's not going anywhere.
Okay.
Like you said, he's only going to get better from A1. So I got AC 3rd. I mean, the man ran way up there for a long time. Anderson 4th. Still like El Hombre in there. Barsha, it's just so hard for me to keep him in there. I'm going with Blake Baggett. Looked smooth, looked fast, was pushing the top dudes. And my wild card, Dean banged up Wilson. Hopefully he's starting to feel a little better and pulls off a 14.
Those are your picks.
Well, I'm liking these picks. You were a mess. I'm honestly feeling pretty comfortable about this.
All right.
We'll see.
I like your picks except for Tomac, dude. I am off the train until he starts
It's weird, dude.
doing what he does.
If you don't pick him in first, it feels weird. I don't know
He'll
why.
suck
but-
the first few rounds and then figure it out, I guess. I don't know. Thanks, Tomac. Well, there you have it. Those are our picks. They are locked in. What do you guys think? Who do you got in your top 5 right now? Who's the wild card?
You got Malcolm could be mixing it up in
Dude,
there.
see,
at
I
any
forgot
given
about
point.
Malcolm.
You got Osborne that might be fresh and spry. I don't know.
Malcolm, dude, it is so hard right now. You put your picks out every week, and then you're like, oh, I forgot about this guy. I forgot about that guy. And then you feel like a bad person, but...
But if they work out, you just act like you knew it the whole time and move on.
Exactly. You know what I'm talking about. Well, remember, get your picks in. Go to RMFantasySX.com. It's free to play. Get your top 5 in, make the wild card, and you're good to go. But now, we need to tell you why it pays to play RMFantasy SX. This is our prize recap. Now is the time we tell you why it pays to play RMFantasy SX. And remember, you can listen to this on podcast form on all the major platforms.
Yep.
Also, Christian, before we do the prizes, what's the promo code? What's the gift for this weekend?
This week, for all the SXperts out there, use the banner on the top of the site, the Vision Goggles 2.0s. If you click on that, go to the website, use promo VSN promo, you'll get an extra 10% off that for the weekend. So
They're already an inexpensive but rock solid goggle.
you should have a few pairs just
I do.
in case.
All right, so prize recap. Here we go. Weekly prizes up for grabs. We got 100 prizes this week. First up, you got a set or 3 sets of Bridgestone Battlecross tires. You've got a $750 Cherry spending spree, Moto 9 with MIPS from Bell Helmets, Fast Flex handlebars, Magura hydraulic clutch, Fly Evolution gear set, Pro Honda prize pack, Matrix Concepts in their Troy Designs Fox View goggles, and what's cool is that Fox actually just told us yesterday, not only are they giving away a set of goggles, they're also going to have a signed Austin Faulkner jersey.
That's a huge boost.
With the goggles.
Yeah, awesome bonus for 10th prize.
Those are top 10, and then we have 90 Rocky Mountain ATVMC gift cards.
right.
So we got 100 prizes up for grabs. Christian, grand prizes.
Grand prizes this year. First place, KTM 450 SXF. Second, a KTM 250 SX.
Two strokes.
Yeah, the 2-stroke. A lot of people
All right.
pumped on that. Third place, Monster Energy Cup Trip. We learned was in Carson, California this year. Fourth, a year's supply of Dunlops. Everyone would be happy to get
A
that.
year's supply.
I mean, you can't be mad.
No.
So fifth place, Alpine Stars Gear and Casual Package. Sixth, Tusk Impact Wheels and Honda Generator. Seventh place, Fly Racing Gear Package head to toe. Eighth place, Milestone Video Games Console, TV, and Game. Ninth place, Motion Pro Tool Hookup. And 10th place, the Oakley Spending Spree. So
Boom. That is why you play RMFantasy SX. I said it once, I'll say it again. RMFantasySX.com.
That's right.
Sign up, free to play, create
our
your
group.
own group.
join ours,
Join
RM
ours.
Fantasy SXperts. Get in there and talk some smack.
Join
with us.
Jeff Walker's group. You got Carrie and Nicole. They've got an awesome group. Talk some smack. Comment below. We want to hear your thoughts. That is it. Round 2, RMFantasy SXperts. St. Louis, here we come. Good luck on your picks, and we'll see you next week.